Rotations are going to be made, as we can see already. No Rek'Sais to be seen. And it is going to be Thresh and LeBlanc banned away from OMG. 5 just often sees a Thresh ban. And the Rise, unsurprisingly.
Yeah, 5's actually just a ridiculously good Thresh player.
Yes.
Something that basically everybody in the LPL can play in the support role. JSL is the exact same.
Yeah.
He kicks that Thresh up and he is something fierce when he actually has it in his back pocket. But it is interesting that it actually saw a ban in the first place. Same thing with the Jhin.
Well, yeah, Jhin is actually going to be taken away here, as Vladimir was the follow-up ban from OMG. Seems like it is one that generally has to be taken, as Tank is just going to snap up his Lissandra.
Very early rotation of this Lissandra. Of course, you can consider putting it top lane for Flandre, knowing that there is a Swain potentially available for the other team and that Morello's is still an item that you can get on Lissandra if you really wish to do so. It is decent to consider.
Oh, and OMG going towards exactly what EDG didn't want to see out of them in game number 1 of their series against the team a couple of days ago, as the Sivir and Maokai have been locked in. We've seen this team use this as a bottom lane duo. Probably not going to be this time, as Luo no longer on the team.
Yeah, we did.
And SOFM thinking about what he wants to take into the jungle. Rek'Sai's been banned, but he's got a lot of champions in this pool.
Luo is the best meta support right now because he can flex Aurelia.
Yeah.
And Maokai.
Yeah. They're sleeping on him, man. We need to find Luo. Where's he gone?
Yep. Bring him back.
Yeah, got to find it. There's no Trundle to be locked in here from Snake. Of course, seeing the Maokai means you probably do like picking up the Troll. Subjugate pretty useful against the Super Tank. However, not going to be looked at here, is SOFM thinking about the Nidalee for that first pick, and Ashe being hovered here for Martin.
Yeah, looking at the Ashe and actually picking it into a Sivir and a Maokai means that you're going to run a risk of actually being flanked. There you go.
Well, Nidalee and Braum are going to be locked in, so not even going to look towards a Karma or anything like that. OMG could potentially have that super movement speed comp.
They need a hyper carry somewhere. I think Flandre might actually be inclined towards something. Nidalee does a lot of damage, as does Tank on the Lissandra.
Yeah.
But Nidalee's heals will kind of go to waste with an AD carry that they can't protect, so the Ashe having a Braum to stand in front of it could give it a lot more merit in terms of pick priority. Given that Jhin is not available, and you don't necessarily need to heal a Jhin for any kind of attack speed.
Well, Zhuezhui is going to lock away the Lee Sin. He's seen a lot of success on it, especially in the series that they won. Nami as well going to be locked away here for 5, so not wanting to take the Karma. We'll see what Snake do to round out their roster here. They do need to lock in a top laner now, and we'll see whether it's going to be the Trundle for Flandre or whether he's going to pick something else up.
Well, Trundle's just S+ tier at the moment.
Yorick makes a lot of sense here, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I think we've seen a lot of competitive play recently with it's Trundle. Like,
yeah.
If it's not Trundle, it's like Aurelia or something to that extent, but Flandre has been a little bit slower in his movements towards this patch.
And Trundle has been, honestly, that sort of S-tier top laner that we've seen. Lung, V, all of the top laners here in the LPL have been gravitating towards the big troll.
It did 30% of a team's damage one game as a Trundle and won the game.
Which is pretty ludicrous. So Martin, thinking about the Ashe still, Trundle going to be locked away here for Flandre. As far as the team comp being fashioned now, what are we seeing? Are we seeing Siege, Disengage, type kiting style comp?
It's a combination of everything, actually, from the side of Snake.
Wow.
That was quick.
Yeah,
Icon knows what he
wants
wants.
Kassadin.
I guess the confirmation being on red side was that Lissandra is going to be the middle laner. And he immediately locks in Kassadin knowing that he wants the matchup. There's a lot of magic damage reduction, spell shields, and tankiness available for the side of OMG. They've got the damage deal jungle of Zhuezhui and Nami to augment. Honestly, they do a lot of damage incidentally as well through that Sivir. That's pretty well-rounded team composition if the Kassadin can get going.
Yeah, and I actually quite like picking Kassadin when you have something like the Sivir here for SMLZ, something that can augment the wave clear that is often lacking from the Kassadin pick, just because you can't get in there to force pulse a wave without being in danger.
Well, they've also built themselves a team composition, OMG, to look at Martin and say, I'm going for you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, buddy. You're out of here.
Zhuezhui's built something that can withstand SOFM in the jungle. Both will be reasonably even in terms of that matchup. Comes down to who invades who. the levels, the health bars. Lee Sin can exploit SOFM potentially with all of his invades.
Well, we'll see how it goes as coaches do shake hands. Let's get into game number 1 of day 3. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for our first game of day number 3. Snake going to be taking on OMG as everyone fanning out onto the Rift. We'll see whether anyone goes for any lane swap funny business. Normally, seeing Snake means that you generally do see it, but they have been drifting back into Standard since SOFM joined the roster.
And of course, this is the first and I believe only time we'll see these teams actually competing against each other. As friendly reminder, we are still in cross-group play. So Snake doing well in their respective group, OMG not so much, but making waves. Honestly, almost taking it to EDG. And if EDG is the best team in Snake's group, that could actually mean some pretty bad things for Snake.
Yeah, also looking like the best team in the league at the moment. There's Flandre looking to give SOFM some support as he hits Rayjoy with a spear.
As an Italy player, that's basically GG though, because it means you've calibrated your skill shot.
Yeah, exactly. And is able to take down a ward solo before it disappears.
Italy is very unique in that respect, has 2 auto attack resets.
And as well, we just saw Furor Battle picked up for Siva, which is something that we don't see as much, and Warlord's Bloodlust being taken by Martin.
Yeah, Ashe and Siva, I think, are the 2 that would look towards Warlord's Bloodlust, but SMLZ going for the Fervor of Battle is almost like a I need to kill Flandre and I'm not worried about sustain type of build.
I guess he does have a Nami with the ebb and flow.
Yeah, the major difference is that of being that you don't have lifesteal, right? You lose that lifesteal, but you get extra damage. And so by having the standard lanes, perhaps they just want to look for this out sustain with Nami and out damage with Siva. Which means you might see passive play from 5.
Martin does make it in. Takes away that first minion wave as SMLZ is going to do the same thing. Even on farm now, as all of the melee creeps did go over to the Siva player. Tank manages to get level 2. Probably still going to be comfortable here in this lane, despite Icon picking this champion into him, especially for the early stages.
And again, we have to look at both of these junglers as the primary point of carry. And they're just going to hit each other.
Yeah, he gets bubbled. 5 taking a bit of damage, but Snake zoned away from this minion wave.
Yeah, and SMLZ being full health, 5 is able to play with his own health bar and heal himself as he damages enemies. One of the better ways to look to snowball lanes is Nami, but once again, we look at these junglers and we say they're the point where the tipping of this game's result can actually go towards. SOFM, he's an invade-heavy jungler. The Raptors are usually always his.
Yes.
And I mean both Raptors. And right now, they've even got it warded on OMG's side of the jungle. So we'll see if he can actually get in, because as far as I'm concerned, SOFM is the catalyst of their success or their undoing. Whereas Zhuezhui has only looked good so far.
Yeah, definitely has. His Icon's taking a lot of damage, but Zhuezhui is going to make his way in here. Frozen Tomb is going to get... Sorry, not Frozen Tomb, the Glacial Path, as Zhuezhui misses the Q. That was so close to a phenomenal play as the Spear is going to land the pounce. Oh, not going to get the reset, but there it is! SOFM picks one up. Icon now in trouble as well as the red buff's ticking down. No, my God, he gets it! That was ridiculous.
2 big kills now, and he goes straight to the Raptors because it's SOFM. He doesn't even have enough health. He might die to them.
May actually be enough time to give a kill away as well.
No, he lived. Okay. So, they get 2 big kills onto this Nidalee. He will be able to recall soon and get a ridiculous amount of items and accelerate the jungle where he was already 10 CS up. Like, the difference was Zhuezhui was so close to getting a kill, but a Kassadin cannot compensate where a Lissandra can, and actually helping out past the point where he flashed away. Comes back in and helps get that easy double kill. Hard fought, though, by SOFM, and only barely gets the second.
Yeah, misses the reset on the pounce. Oh, sorry, the extended pounce. but is able to flash in for the takedown, and now has an Aether Wisp as well as that Tracker's Knife. My god, this Nidalee snowballing hard.
And Nidalee is one of the few champions that we've seen a lot of tweaks to and said maybe not as prevalent in competitive play, but can still snowball out of this world. So having 2 early kills means that this Nidalee is still going to be as big as ever.
Yeah. Starting the onslaught on the jungle once again. SOFM getting that cute little pounce reset, gets himself out of there.
And the thing is,
take some Raptors.
SOFM doesn't even need to gank anymore. He can just snowball in the jungle and get himself ridiculously far ahead in items compared to Zhuezhui, who's probably just going to be trying to farm to the level 6 point now that he doesn't have double buffs and failed the level 3 gank.
You can see Snake now, lots of vision around here. They want to find Icon before he hits that level 6. Doesn't have Flash, of course. And there's no teleport. He has to be very careful as they are waiting very patiently for him.
Yeah, and Lee Sin's going to get a gank off in the top lane during this. It's a lot of time spent.
Well, in goes Tank, and he does have the ultimate Icon. Nothing he can do right now. Concussive blows is going to take him down. Flandre in trouble here as well as Zhuezhui looking for the Q. Flandre jukes it out of the way, and he gives up. Oh my god.
That was a fantastic juke from Flandre. He was against the wall, and so he had a 50-50. But he took the right guess there. And meanwhile, in that middle lane, ticking level 6 was Tank, 2 levels ahead of Icon. And they are picking on this Cassidy, and that is exactly what you get for picking it. Snake snowball through your lane.
And I love it as well. I mean, they knew that the Flash was down, knew that he didn't have Rift Walk, and the wave was in favor of Tank. It's just a really intelligent decision to move to that mid lane.
Yeah, they didn't even need to gank it because Tank had the freeze. He was controlling the minion wave, but because they know they can get kills with it and put the Cassidy further behind, you can always look towards it.
Well, you can see Flandre went back, grabbed himself that Tiamat, teleported back towards the top side as well. Xiang struggling here in this lane. It was a bigger lead earlier on, about 45 to 25. Xiang has been able to pick up some creeps up against this turret.
This is nearing the point in the game where you almost just throw win conditions out the window for Snake and say the team fighting doesn't even matter anymore. Our 1-3-1 that we had with a Lissandra and a Trundle don't even necessarily count for as much anymore because SOFM is just so damn large. What they do is they just group around him and accelerate.
He's part of that 1-3-1. So he's now going to be able to take down this pink ward as well, as now they're looking to invade the jungle. And the pressure doesn't stop here from Snake. We were talking about teams and having to really play for these early leads that they've managed to get. Snake not letting go right now.
Yeah, that whole side of the jungle is definitely theirs. And he's not done because he's going to go back and try and secure his own. He understands where Zhuezhui is going. And he walks through the lane as a sign, not necessarily of disrespect, but to show Zhuezhui that it's not a good idea to do it.
Yeah, he's actually in full vision here as well as the dragon does wake up. This Rift Scuttler is going to be taken by Zhuezhui.
Look at this.
Italy back in the mid lane. Icon just tagged by this red buff, and another Raptor camp falls down instantly to SOFM.
Yeah, when I say that SOFM takes every Raptor, I mean it. That's the perfect example of it. I'm pretty sure they just spawned and he had the timer. Now that he's working top lane with Tank, they know they're coming, but Icon doesn't have teleport.
Well, there's the Subjugate as well, as Flandre was tanking up the turret. There's the Frozen Tomb. Not a whole lot Xiang can do. And by not a whole lot, I mean nothing, as Flandre just did everything that he could to set that one up.
Yeah, absolutely. Flandre had already done the work. The rest of them just come in and reap the benefits. Oh, that was close.
Oh, so close.
That was really close. And that would have been insult to injury. But once again, you know what? SOFM, you can stop taking the kills now. It's okay. Like, Tank's working for them. The team is still collapsing for you. Is it a proto belt?
What? Oh. I hope so. I really hope so.
I know it could be a Spirit Visage or it could be a Locket, but he's in Italy.
It's going to be a proto belt.
And that's not a Rod of Ages.
No.
That's definitely a proto belt.
That is so cool.
Because
you were telling me, like, of course, proto belt. I was thinking for these immobile mages is a good idea. I'm thinking first item on Mordekaiser every single time, but you're like, it actually augments people that have dashes a little bit better.
Yeah, it enables assassins a little bit more heavily. Whereas the immobile mages, it's nice on them, but you really want more control items such as like the Rylays. And Nidalee can get that, can get the Rod of Ages, can go Abyssal Set. Nidalee can actually buy anything. Depends on what your goal is in that game. I'd say that, I guess it's a cooldown reduction item, as well as a little bit snowbally. And it does scale with AP, so you can look for further things after this. It works nicely having the Hextech Gunblade as well with your Q.
Well, Tank is going to take a bit of a ride out of here. Flashes as well. Xiong makes his way underneath the turret. Arrow flying through but doesn't find Zhuizhui. That was close. 4 members in the mid lane as SOFM just takes down a dragon.
Yeah, and Tank had his ultimate, I believe, this entire time. So if they looked for a dive, not only would they have been hit by the arrow, Lissandra would have ulted and kept himself alive for a little bit longer there. So they make a move, OMG, but that move is not convincing enough to actually take down a pretty big Lissandra.
Yeah, SOFM going to be able to clear out this ward. They've got full control over this blue buff here at the same time. SOFM going to be very happy to grab that one. Look at his clear now with the Runic Echoes completed.
What's ridiculous is that at every single point we're seeing SOFM in the enemy jungle, he's got somebody with him. Like right now, Braum, Jay-Z's just hiding out, having a great time with SOFM. They are still indirectly protecting Martin while he's doing this because they're playing towards the AD carry side of the map. They steal that blue. It directly indicates that they want to take the turret down with it.
Now Icon not with the control here in this mid lane. Tower's going to be traded across the side as SOFM turns up. Zhuizhui taking some damage here from the Tiamat Trundle.
And this looks like it was put into effect by OMG, and they wanted to swap lanes. Seems like the Sivir, as an individual contributor to the team, wants to start snowballing global gold, perhaps, and open up the map pressure further so that it's risky for Snake to continue looking for things. Vision becomes a lot more important.
Yeah, it does have himself a little bit of an item advantage here as well as SOFM. What a jerk. He's done so much work.
Everything is his.
Wow.
Live or die by the SOFM greed.
That tower is going to fall down. SOFM chucks a little auto attack into it. Zhuizhui now not wanting to fight this one as Martin's going to turn up in the mid lane as well. Shanna Crystal Arrow is available. A lot of mobility from OMG though.
Lee Sin really has not gotten anything done.
He's been shut out.
He's been absolutely shut out. They closed that door on him at level 3. The unfortunate gank because the Q didn't connect. He made an aggressive move. He did look for it. Because he used a ward jump forward, he had to flash backwards, and Nidalee's got enough gap close. And just like that, look at what he's facing off against.
Just terrifying. And you can see CS leads across the board apart from that AD carry position. 26 in favor of SMLZ. But you look on the top side of the map, these are the sort of win conditions Snake are looking for as well. You were talking about 1-3-1. They are certainly able to do if they want to. And that is going to be a 20 CS lead for Tank. And approximately that on Flandre as well. It's actually at 35.
It may well be a Spirit Visage just quickly on that Nidalee.
Uh-huh.
He's accelerated his item build by going for the Kindle Gem because cooldown reduction is just insanely valuable on every champion. It's just such an important stat. Kindle Gem giving health and cooldown reduction means that you can push your luck. You're already ahead in damage items.
Yeah, because it does look like Rylo's Crystal Scepter will come in now.
Yeah. It's effectively the tank theory. When a tank is ahead, they still do a lot of damage.
Well, you can see SOFM continuing to farm things out. OMG, however, move their AD carry to the mid lane. Spear going to fly through and clear out a minion. SOFM in full vision of OMG, so they could dodge those abilities quite easily. But Tank, this is his element. I mean, he's just playing Lissandra. This is where he's happy.
Yeah, this is Tank's best champion. I think it's safe to say. He's always looked good playing it. Got Martin and Jay-Z in that bottom lane being the facilitators for them also. So as this game even mellows out a little bit, Snake are still the ones in the driver's seat. They just don't have the outer turrets to take anymore. They've got a Rift Herald perhaps, but they don't have a Drake to look at. And so breaking further into this map is starting to become more trying.
Well, Zhuizhui is going to find Flandre here. Not going to get kicked back towards the turret as the Subjugate does come out. Flandre healing back a lot as the pillar goes down, but it doesn't really help him too much. OMG setting up to take this kill. Zhuizhui picks it up with the Q. OMG finally get one on the board.
Yeah, Flandre actually flashed quite late there. He could have flashed to get kicked away. He didn't choose to do so, as SOFM and the rest of Snake are going to look to trade for it, but Flandre's typical aggression comes back to bite him, and nobody was surprised this day.
No, certainly not. SOFM wants to grab himself this Rift Herald as Jay-Z struggling to stay alive for the moment. They will be able to lock that one down. And SOFM going to continue his onslaught on this game now with that Rift Herald buff.
And the fact that he's getting blue buffs as well is helping out his clear so much. Dredgeway is just, he's lagging behind, and he's a Lee Sin that's getting close towards the point of, I'm a mid-game Lee Sin, and I'm not as relevant as a lot of other champions.
Yeah, and I haven't bought my team a lead where we can actually get through this more difficult stage.
And he's actually outright taking the blue buffs. Tank was on the way to it. We've hit that point in the game.
Oh god, SOFM.
Also, interesting choice of items from Tank going towards the Abyssal Scepter Rush instead of just a Negatron into Rod of Ages.
Yeah.
It means he's going to be quite delayed on that Rod. And it costs a bit less now, the Rod. It's 2,600 instead of 3,000, which means you can get it slightly quicker. So it is a little bit surprising to see him rush that. It means he wants to reduce the magic resistance of people around him so that SOFM can snowball as well.
Oh god, SOFM picks up his second blue buff in a row. There's now Snake pushing towards this inner turret. They will take a lot of damage off it as Xiang's trying to defend, but he's not going to be able to do so. Winter's Bite tags him, and he has to flash away. The turret falls down, and Snake now moving on to the next objective.
He was yelling at them loudly, trying to tell them to run away. They're not scared of him.
Yeah.
And so he had to flash because he overstayed trying to bait them into running away.
5 seconds until Dragon up here as well, as SOFM says, there is a objective on this map that I can kill. And that's an Infernal. I mean, this is huge. Mountain Infernal is the first 2 Drakes. When you're this strong early.
Yeah, this feels pretty clear-cut.
Yeah.
They are playing this game reasonably clean as well. Everything that they're doing for themselves right now, Snake feels like that revitalized Tank's actually in a lot of trouble here.
Well, actually throws down the claw. That is massive. The Tidal Wave is going to knock him up. So he's going to fall down in the end, but that was some cute play out of the Lysandra.
The distance that he covered, because the claw was already going out after the Lee Sin kicked him, was phenomenal.
That was hilarious.
Nami able to lock that one down, get the Tidal Wave, and secure it for Dredgeway. They do get themselves a nice pick and a bit of damage, but it doesn't feel like, even with that pick, it amounts to anything, because they do it on the opposite side of the map with no turret to take. That was already dead. It was just that free pick in a scenario where it just presents itself well. Oh, he missed.
Oh, no.
He thought it was the other chicken.
Didn't know which chicken it was. There it is. I think he got it that time.
Yeah, he did. He got the pounce reset. Which is one of the cooler things you can do in Italy as well. You throw a max range spear, if it's going to last hit a minion, you can change form and pounce, and it'll reset the pounce cooldown. Because no matter how you kill it, like with what you use, if you're in Cougar form, it resets the pounce cooldown when something dies.
Huh. Well, Spear going to pick the gap between the OMG members as SOFM continuing to be frustrating. Doesn't have a blue buff anymore and is running low on the old mana. However, still going to fight everyone for everything as SMLZ takes an auto attack here. You can see Snake bearing down. Zhuizhui gets caught out by the arrow. The teleport's coming in. Frozen Tomb is going to lock up the Lee Sin, and Martin picks up the kill, continuing to get auto attacks off as Icon, right in the front line, has to use his Rift Walk and Flash to get out. As volleys are still flying through. Yeah, Flandre, you're probably not tanky enough just yet. I mean, that's only a Ravenous Hydra and a Spectre's Cowl.
It's just still decides, yeah, he's just going to go that way. But Snake continue that push. Now they've got the jungler down. A lot of spells are bursted and used. They're still looking for more.
Yeah, nice Winter's Bite onto 5. However, Xiang is going to get taken down with the takedown from SOFM as the inner turret is then going to fall down. Bit of a troll pillar comes in from Flandre. However, Snake do survive it.
And a big turret take at 18 minutes. One of the harder turrets to take, of course, it's in that middle lane. And they do have Sivir for wave clear, Nami to protect, and this ultimately just comes down to the Kassadin choice.
Yeah.
They haven't been able to put him into a side lane and split push as effectively as they would have liked. Of course, he's down there now, but they're still scaling. They had the Lee Sin to try and get the Kassadin to a point of scaling. They had the Maokai for team fighting, and they had the potential 1-3-1 as a matter of Maokai diffusing and Kassadin pushing and advancing, with the Sivir, Lee Sin, Nami to survive in that middle lane. But because things have gotten a little bit out of control through the jungle position of Snake, They can't hold that 3-man. They need to bring the attention of more people all the time, and that's where things have gone a bit haywire.
Yeah, and we were talking about this earlier on as well. I mean, as soon as you pick that Kassadin, you're relying on having a decent early game just so that when that wave clear is required, when the siege is coming in, you can actually withstand it.
It's all about that Sivir having a good lane to withstand any siege, but because people have snowballed on the side of Snake, you can't really wave clear against what is just overbearing damage and the threat of a dive.
Yeah. Well, it is close to 8,000, the lead here as Snakes start work on the last remaining inner turret. Spears are flying in as they're setting themselves up.
Pillar.
Nice pillar. Fantastic pillar, actually, as the kick comes back. Flandre just wants to get right back in underneath. The tidal wave flies through. Jay-Z falling down extremely low, and it is Jue that picks up the kill. Nice arrow. He's going to land immediately onto the tank, and there's the Frozen Tomb. Tank getting the work done. Is SOFM flying out of this fight. Just trying to bait Icon in. Gets the ward down. It's a 1-for-1 though. OMG doing okay.
And that was potentially the fight that OMG needed, but Jay-Z is a hero. That Braum, I believe he jumped forward and blocked the Nami ultimate, and that Tsunami could have killed everybody because they would have been locked down after a 3-man Lee Sin kick. And a lot of damage coming out of that Maokai, Kassadin, and Sivir. So they do well to not lose more than they already did.
Yeah, certainly. There's now Snake a ping on Baron. There is a ward in the back of the pit. SOFM will remove it. We'll see whether they actually start this one up. Decide not to. 5 going to be heading back to base. Jue going to replace the vision that they just lost in this pit.
And the question is who gets this. Oh, finally. Tank feels freedom for the first time.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
He gets a blue buff.
Oh, Jue may get a blue buff as well, which might go to Icon, which could be ridiculous because, of course, that has just spawned.
Probably not. Look at SOFM.
Yeah. And also... Look at the vision that's available from Snake. That could just spell a potential Baron here from this Snake team that do have a lot of damage. Even though it is only 21 minutes into the game. Mountain Drake will help them out.
And here he goes. Straight over to that blue buff. I think it'll be gone before he gets there, but we'll...
Oh! Spear was close, hits Xiang. Now just wants to find a fight from it.
Nothing is free for OMG.
No.
Every objective will be fought for. Every piece of vision on this map, every inch of land is actually being contested by a Snake. It's a sign that they're trying to choke them out, really, from OMG. With the Drake coming up soon, there'll be another quick Drake take.
Ha. Cloud Dragon is the next one that's going to be available. So probably not going to see as much priority on it. Martin was looking to pick up that last creep with the volley, but doesn't find it. And still, you can see SOFM 6-0-0. 6 out of the 7 kills he's taken for himself. Now, Cloud Drake is going to be immediately taken away here from Snake. So wanting to get an extra dragon on this map before the Elder.
It's just an easy take, right?
Yeah.
No one's going to stop them from taking a Cloud, and it is going to help them with the Elder, of course. It buffs that up further as Flandre's caressed the Scuttle Crab into not moving.
Nice kick. Does do a bit of damage there to SOFM. You hit a beefier target, do more damage. As that is a big cooldown. Now unavailable for OMG in the next fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And they can look to start forcing out vision once again on this side of the map, except for that Scuttle Crab that Jue smote away. And this is where, with the Drake down, the only major objective lies on this top half of the map. The vision can be pretty much exclusively looked towards that area. They can put Flandre up that top side, who can split push because of all of the vision that they're now starting to advance into OMG's jungle.
Yeah, we'll see what the Flandre decides to move towards that bottom side, get things pushing out. Teleports both available for OMG though. They are still holding on. It's 8,000 gold the lead, but that hasn't changed for quite a few minutes now.
Yeah, they're getting magic resistance as well now in their back pockets. It'll help out a fair bit. We're not seeing Void Staffs. So once they get those resistances, OMG have a fighting chance. And they just want that level 16 for Kassadin. They want those item spikes for SMLZ as well so that he can start hitting the backline with his ricochets and actually do damage to them. He's not too far away because he's close to what Martin has in terms of gold. He's been farming up a storm, SMLZ.
Yeah. He's been doing work. And I mean, you can see, is reflected on the top side CS. Flandre has been given a lot more of what Snake have been able to provide as the spear is going to go wide onto Jue. No vision available for Snake, of course.
And OMG are actually in a really good fighting position when they can hold their ground. They've got the Lee Sin kick. They've got Xiong on that twisted advance from Maokai. They've got Siva with the spell shooter, wants to stand still and deliver damage, and Nami to keep them in that position. So if Snake missed the execution, which is easy to do with a Nidalee, and it's skill shot reliant, and they could actually find themselves in a position like they were in the top lane. Actually hold their own.
Yeah. Tank going to steal away Raptor Camp again. Just tank things. Exactly what he wants to be doing. He now grabs the Raptor Sense and he's able to clear out that vision at the front door. Zhuezhui moving over this ward that's out of vision of the pink.
They know he's recalling. They'll probably start this one if they don't look to kill him instead.
Yeah, there it is. 3 men already on this one. And they immediately pull out as you can see Zhuezhui stops his back.
So they're playing around Trundle now on the bottom side of the map. It's the lane where, in a direct 1v1, now that there is a Ravenous Hydra and Spirit Visage, Xiong can't stop Flandre from actually hitting anything. This is now a point where they're forcing consistent ward usage out of OMG. Just need to count now and work out they have none left. Then they can pull the trigger on it. Or they can force Xiong to rotate, in which case Flandre can wreak havoc on the bottom.
Well, you can see Flandre actually setting up for a potential fight here as this ward getting taken down. Zhuezhui hit by the arrow there right on the edge. Does flash away as the Glacial Fissure doesn't find him. Some big cooldowns thrown out from Snake, but no summoner spells. They'll have those back again relatively soon.
You can see the change in style as well reflected here from Snake. Baiting the Baron's not working. They just keep recalling and alternating and coming back with more wards. They'll just keep placing those wards. Eventually they'll see us doing it. There's no point risking a steal. So they change their position. They stance much more aggressively into the jungle of OMG. They don't get enough vision down, however.
Wow, 5 takes so much damage. Gets pounced on there as well as the dash cannon comes out. That's what we like to see. Pick up kills with your dash cannon.
He actually dodged the Nami bubble with it.
And steals the Raptor Camp again.
That was unbelievable. He dodged a Nami bubble with the dash cannon. So the Proto Belt helping him out there. And now the pressure comes down. 5 is their warding tool, and he's non-existent.
Icon as well makes it back to his last remaining inner turret. Very lucky that that one's still there. Saved his life as Snake once again setting up for a potential siege. SOFM gets some cheeky auto attacks, and he's doing a lot of damage to these turrets with all the AP he's got built up. SMLZ gets in with the wave clear though, snagged by a spear. You can see SOFM wants to take down this turret. The rest of Snake do back away.
Yeah, 5's back alive, and Martin takes a lot of damage. Cassidy is still hurting him. They're now looking for SOFM.
Yeah, good luck.
It is only level 14 on that Cassidy. And once again, needs to find himself a solo farm lane to get that experience towards 16 when he can actually be sticky and be a genuine threat consistently.
Well, as well, you can see they're ignoring that blue buff that is available as well. It looks like it will be Flandre that heads over and picks it up. The Snake just have so much control. Icon, full vision of him there in the mid lane. Once again, denied that extra AP and the mana.
And for a macro-heavy team, it's like Snake's not exactly setting up for this well. Individually strong players, they are not getting the objective. The only ones they're getting are the free Drakes. And granted, the next one is up very soon and is probably going to be free once again. They want the Baron. And they're not being allowed to get this Baron, and all OMG are simply doing is warding. No one's controlling. They're slowly changing styles. They haven't actually adapted quickly enough. Not enough pink wards available around the pit. Everything not going perfectly here for Snake. They're still showing some flaws. But with this Drake...
yeah, that's double Infernal now as well. 16% extra flat stats. That is very frightening.
And this, is still very much a clean and well-coveted victory for Snake if they can close this one out. But it feels like it is taking them far too long to do so.
You can see OMG actually setting up around this Baron now, looking to try and clear out vision. Snake do have their mid laner on the top side of the map as OMG standing in this brush. There are a lot of pings though. Snake know exactly what's going on. They want none of it.
Yeah, they even threw a spear, but everyone from OMG dodged it. It's funny. They know exactly where they are, and they're still playing around it.
SOFM has 1,800 gold as well.
Yeah, he's going to be close to a Zonia's Hourglass, I think.
Very scary.
But I have to admire that he went back with a lot of gold, and he bought pink wards.
Yeah.
Instead of actually getting the next part of the components in his item build. It shows where his priorities are starting to move towards. And whilst we said their execution is definitely lacking to an extent, they haven't found an opportunity to start that Baron off even really at all.
Xiang fighting Flandre. The wet noodle fight is going to commence. And Icon possibly in trouble as he does flash. Glacial Fissure flies through. As you can see, Martin gets kicked back. The exhaust comes down as Frozen Tomb is going to lock up the Lee Sin forever. Martin does end up falling down as it's Icon that picks that one up as SOFM and Jay-Z right on top of him. SMLZ knocked out and picked up as SOFM now going to be the target. Xiang has made his way into the fight, but Flandre just beating on the tree like he's a rag doll. Gets over the wall, but of course there's a lot of mobility out of this Snake roster. And he's going to get slowed down once more. Ebb and Flow comes in, and now Snake do back away.
Icon was running low on mana, but he had enough for a rotation of spells, and that was enough to actually deter them. As 9-0 is the current status of this Nidalee. Finished the Void Staff, so he's killing anybody that walks in front of him for OMG. And even with a kick on the AD carry Martin, they still can't win a team fight as the end result.
Yeah, and Flandre is going to be able to take down this turret in one chomp as well as SOFM continues his slaughter of jungle creeps. This needs a higher rating, I think, just with what SOFM's doing to these minions around the jungle. Instantly getting murdered. Jay-Z sees the ward go down as Xiang trying to at least prepare some vision for his team.
They're running out of vision now, though. By Snake winning that team fight, at least having control of the map after the team fight. And now starting to establish themselves.
Zhuezhui is going to get pounced on here. Does use a safeguard to get out. But you can see SOFM, lots of burst damage. Xiang taking auto attacks from Martin. Arrow flies through. They want to get the pick. Nice setup for the spear as SOFM is going to get chunked out immediately. Xiang picks up the kill. He's going to die for it as Tank makes his way through. They're looking for Icon. Frozen Tomb goes down on the Kassadin. In trouble now. Zhuezhui looking to try and get back in. How did he thread that needle? That was insane. But it's just not enough as the rest of Snake's members are just too strong. Zhuezhui falls, and that is going to be almost the ace as SMLZ stumbles away.
And SMLZ still with full health. There are 3 members of Snake remaining, but I think Flandre can just blatantly ignore him and push him off, so it will be an inhibitor taken. And with SOFM going down, it just goes to show that Snake are far enough ahead and confident enough that they can still win these team fights without him. And he did do damage to Xiang for what it's worth. The one big positive point that we do have to look at is the way Zhuezhui plays this. As he gets the kick onto Martin, he gets it straight into 5's Nami ultimate, and somehow...
How did that needle get
Yeah, very
threaded?
impressive stuff, but remember, Flandre's been hitting them the whole time. Tank's been hitting them the whole time. You can't actually stop Snake now that they've snowballed, because they effectively have 4 carries on that team.
Yeah, they do.
They killed 2 of them in that last fight, and OMG did as best they could, honestly, with what they were given. But 2 is not 4. The other 2 killed you.
Yeah, but definitely hats off to how Zhuezhui did play that as 5 is going to get eliminated immediately.
Good night, sweet 5.
Yeah, sweet fish. As now Snake are going to be starting off this Baron. We'll see whether that scrying all deters them. It looks like it won't as they continue beating this one down. 5 members are here. That is getting eradicated. Mountain Drake plus 2 Infernals and all of the items that they have with their gigantic 13,000 gold lead is enough to grab them the Baron buff. And now heading back, pushing out the mid wave. They'll have Baron-empowered super minions if they follow this one up. Now looking for the bottom inhibitor turret.
Yeah, so they're going to know that Snake are working their way through the bottom, but they're playing towards the mid and bottom as Flandre is now working top side. So naturally they play towards their strengths. And the best way to do that is to establish vision in OMG's jungle on the bottom side of the map. Give teleport options for Flandre and Tank. Then just continue to push in, be aggressive with it. And then look for potentially picks, if not letting Flandre get those top lane turrets in a 1v1.
You can see as well, Tank has picked up 5 items here, if you include the boots. Rabbidan's Death Cap just done, just needs the Void Staff to be completed. Just understands that they're so far ahead, it's like penetration, nah. Let's just build a whole heck of a lot of AP.
And it kind of works. I mean, there's 3 people, still 4 people really on the side of OMG that have magic resistance of some kind as it begins.
Yeah, Flandre doing a bit of the ignoring factor. Ignoring and ignoring on the tree. SOFM takes a force pulse. Icon gets some ground back here for OMG and dodges some skill shots. That is definitely a big deal. As force pulse not going to find SOFM. Actually does, just doesn't do enough damage. Jue hit.
Threatening now.
Yeah, this tower is going down so low. Big pulse, and that is the Q landing onto SOFM as well, daring Jue to come in. And the tower is going to fall on the top side. This split is just too strong out of Snake with this Baron buff.
Nobody's
Xian
stopping Flandre.
No.
You could send 3 people. I'm pretty sure Flandre would still be able to hit it. They want to play it slow and work around the bottom side of the map, though, so Flandre needs to question whether it's worth teleporting.
In goes Jue, but that Circle of Frost was fantastic. Icon's looking for Martin as he gets on top, but Concussive Blows is too strong. And there's the arrow. 5 going to fall down first as Jue going to get followed through. SMLZ dies, and my God, OMG melt at the hands of Snake.
Yeah, they get absolutely destroyed. Flandre is just basically ending the game, and the rest of the team can now group up with him. And for a Game 1 victory, it did have to go to 35 minutes. But that was, if nothing else, convincing.
Damn right. That was just Snake ahead the whole time. And once again, it's on the back of their new jungler, SOFM. That Nidalee play was fantastic in the early game. And they did focus him down. They managed to kill him. But what you got to remember is this is a team that's used to playing around tank, playing around Flandre. They were untouched.
It was a situation where, funnily enough, like yes, SOFM carried, and he definitely did his job and his part for the team, but he did too much of his job and part for the team. They didn't give enough gold to the other remaining members of Snake, so it became a one-man affair. They couldn't look to forcibly have 1-3-1s or like directly actually just team fight because they needed Nidalee to start things off.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We are going to have a look at some of the highlights from this game. You saw actually OMG getting a little bit back in this one as Martin falls down early, but SMLZ with that flash over the wall was a little bit optimistic.
Yeah, they were just too far ahead by that point, and this is the best example of SOFM's power-hungry nature. Gets him killed trying to kick it off, and this fight could have been closer if the gold lead was somewhat closer to not 10k apart.
Yeah.
Again, we credit Jue for this, for threading the needle. The same thing as Icon's target selection bursting out Martin, but there's just too many carries that Snake had compiled, and because they'd snowballed early, that was never going to slow down.
Yeah, and having the subjugate as well on that already gigantic Trundle on a full tank Maokai meant that no one was touching him during the entire duration of that ultimate. And he was able to do a fair bit of damage there with that the Ravenous Hydra picked up as well. It's just really, really scary.
Yeah, it genuinely is a strong Game 1 from Snake.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. But we are going to throw to a short break, ladies and gentlemen. When we get back, we'll see whether OMG can answer the pressure that Snake were able to exert.